RMBI gene, here to take you on another level and new horizons. See clear.
Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for checking it out. I hope you enjoy the videos as well as the podcast Simply Straight Talk Show. So I try to give you guys some great informational self-improvement stuff, so make sure you check it out. Every once in a while I drop in with some news that I think we can all benefit from or learn from. And before we get into it, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. You know, I'm trying to get them numbers up. Trying to get more subscribers. But anyway, as you can see by the title of this video, Denzel Washington reportedly was making some press runs for a movie that he has coming out. And he was talking about playing cops in movies. And he made the statement that I have the utmost respect for cops. Now, this is according to Complex, where he was doing a series of press runs for his latest film. And he talked about playing a cop and stuff like that. But according to complex.com, Denzel Washington said, I have the utmost respect for what they do. He's talking about police officers and for what soldiers do. They sacrifice their lives, he said. I just don't care for people who put those kind of people down. If it weren't for them, we would not have the freedom to complain about what they do. Okay. Here's the thing. Then he also goes on to mention, I think there was in another article, how he went on a police ride with a sergeant one time and he saw the sergeant get out having to deal with somebody. He said the sergeant didn't overreact. He was basically complimenting the sergeant. But in this one, you know, he's basically saying that I have the utmost respect for what they do, and he don't like when people pretty much put down police officers or soldiers. If it weren't for them, we would not have the freedom to complain about what they do. And I'll put a link to this down below so you can go read it yourself. Here's my thing. I don't have a problem with Denzel Washington feeling the way he feels. But one thing I think he has to keep in mind, and one thing people like me and you have to keep in mind. I don't have people like Denzel Washington listening to my podcast. I don't have people like Denzel Washington or his status on my channel. You know, I don't know anybody of his status. So the thing is this, a lot of celebrities, and I'm going to say a lot of black celebrities, that once they reach a certain criteria of fame and fortune, they still seem to think that, I don't want to speak for all of them, but most of them still seem to feel like we're living on the same plane, and we're not. And like I said, this is no disrespect to Denzel Washington. I love his movies. I think he's done a lot of great things. But the fact is, Denzel Washington's world and how he's treated is totally different than my world and most of the listeners who listen, you know, to the podcast or on this YouTube channel. His lifestyle and his world is totally different than ours. The perception and the reception he gets is totally different than ours. So I understand him saying he has the utmost respect. Now, I was in the military, so I can speak about the military and soldiers. I have worked with police officers, and I'm not talking about going on a little, you know, they really call it I forget the name, what they call it. It's not a joyride. I forget the name off the top of my head, but you can basically contact your local police department and you can say, hey, I would like to go on a ride with a police officer to actually see what they do. And that's pretty much what you do. You kind of ride around with them, and you can do it for a whole day. You can do it for 3 hours, 4 hours, but you get to see what they do. But keep in mind this, I understand he said he rode around with that sergeant. I don't know. I'm assuming it was for a police role, probably something he was trying to pick up for a role. But the thing about it is this, when you're in the car with them and you're a citizen, of course, you're not going to see the things that he's not going to act a certain way in front of you. You might have seen that person for a day. Now, not saying that sergeant he was riding with was a bad person. I don't know, but everybody does that. When you get somebody, especially somebody like him who's a high profile person, if they're riding in a car with you, of course you're going to be on your best behavior. Of course you're going to follow all the rules. You're going to go through all of the protocols because you got this high profile person with you. And I'm pretty sure when he went on that ride with him, that the chief or whoever in charge of that police department probably told him, listen, you would do this, you would do this, you would do this. I'm pretty sure he got a handbook of rules that he was told that he must do to make sure there were no issues. So Denzel Washington, I know you'll never see this. But personally, I would have preferred it much better if he would have made the statement of something like, hey, we have good cops and we got bad cops. You know, I just wish people would not categorize all police officers as being bad police officers and talking bad about all police officers. So we have some good police officers that really do care about the communities. They care about the people. And those are the police officers that we need to support. I respect those police officers who really do want to see their communities be better. And those are the police officers that really do make it better for all of us to where we don't have crime. Because for Denzel Washington to say that police officers are the reason we have the freedom to say what we say, that's absolutely incorrect. That is incorrect. That is very much incorrect. Because if you know the real reason police officers were even established, they have nothing to do with our freedom to be able to say what we want to say. So that part I do dispute with him on. That was incorrect. So now, like I said, this is an article that was printed in Complex. I understand sometimes when people are saying things, it's not always to create controversy. But I think that we got a lot of black actors that once they get that high profile status, you know, they really seem to forget, or I don't know if they just forget or they just can't seem to understand that your world is not our world. Yes, we're both black. And I'm talking about Morgan Freeman, you know, everybody, you know, but we live in two different worlds. If you are driving down the street and this happens, you're going to get a different response than if it's me. Even if you get an attitude, I'm going to get a totally different response than you gave. Simply because I don't have your fame, I don't have your fortune, I don't have your notoriety. The fact that you have a political and national stage and your voice can create a disturbance in what they do, you're going to get treated differently, normally with more respect and more courtesy. Now, let me put this out there. I have dealt with police officers to where I have seen some police officers where I'm like, you should have knocked that dude out. I have seen police officers act great. I have seen police officers be very responsible in their duties, but I've also seen some be straight assholes. I've seen some that were jerks. I've seen some that acted inappropriately. So I don't think it's fair for Denzel Washington to say that people shouldn't talk down on police officers. I think it's better to say that people should not categorize all police officers as being bad. There are some police officers who do what they do because they love it. I was in the military, so I don't know if Denzel Washington was, but I was. I served in the military, and I experienced racism in the military. So you can't really, you know, it just kills me, people who try to speak on stuff. They do it for one day and they assume that they got the whole concept in the world wrapped up. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong for making his statement. Those are his views. Those are his opinions. By all means, those are his beliefs. I respect everybody's beliefs. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with it. Just like there's somebody listening right now to this who's not going to agree with my thoughts and my opinion. Do I think there are some good cops? Yes, I do. Do I think there are bad cops? Absolutely. Yes, there is. But I don't think you can categorize every cop as being bad. But I think because There are situations to where there are good cops who are observing bad cops doing bad things, and there's no real effort to try to intervene to prevent something from happening. That's why they get categorized together. And it's kind of hard to separate them. But the thing about it is, back to the whole Denzel Washington statement, listen, I've seen people posting stuff already. Those are his opinions. Those are his thoughts. And for those of you in the black community, I say this, keep in mind, Denzel Washington does not live in our world. He does not. And some people are going to have a hard time understanding that. What are you talking about? We all live on the same planet. We breathe the same air. What do you mean he doesn't live in our world? He's a black man. He understands. No, when you reach a certain level, when you reach like his level, your world is different. Your treatment is different. And like I said, there's nothing bad. He's earned what he's got. So much respect for him. He's proved that you can be successful and go after your goals. But it doesn't mean that everything he say is valid. It doesn't mean that everything he puts out there, we should be taking as it's written in stone. Denzel said it. Morgan Freeman said it. Michael B. Jordan said it. LeBron James said it. Just because these high profile celebrities say things, it doesn't validate that it's our world. That's their world. That is their world. Their world is totally different from ours. And their world, as far as dealing with police, is not the same as our world. I'm sorry. But that's how I see it. That's how I see it. But like I said, it's no disrespect. The man got his beliefs. So before some of y'all jump on the whole, that crazy train everybody get on when they want to go after somebody. That's his voice. That's how he chose to use it. That's him. Give the man the respect for what he's accomplished. Acknowledge the fact that, hey, this is his beliefs. If you disagree, just be like, hey, I hear what you're saying, but I really don't agree. Like I said, I think he could have worded that a whole lot better than what he did. But also keep in mind, when the media and these newspapers and reporters are, when they're actually printing this stuff, sometimes they sort of leave things out. So a person's statement can be sort of misinterpreted. So just keep all that in mind when you hear this whole thing. I'm sure it's going to pick up a lot more traction as it goes along, but if that's how Denzel Washington feels, that's how Denzel Washington feels. Like I said, based on the statement I saw from the complex.com article, I don't fully agree with what he's saying. I think he could have worded it different. And I think a lot of these black actors really try to walk the fence when it comes to certain things because they don't want to piss off the industry. They don't want to, they want to keep the fans paying for their movies and their music. So they walk they walk that fence line. They don't lean to either side. They just sort of do a balancing act, So, but that's just the reality of what it is. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts, man. Check out the article. Come back and let me know your thoughts. Tell me, what do you think? How do you feel about it? Do you feel that people are going to misinterpret it? Do you think he could have worded it different? Tell me what your thoughts are. How do you feel about the police? Do you feel that they are maybe misunderstood, or maybe they're being all categorized and we shouldn't categorize everybody? Tell me your thoughts. Let me know your opinions on this matter. Love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in. And once again, new shows drop every Friday with the Simply Straight Talk Show. Make sure you come back and check it out. Look forward to hearing you. Seeing you.
It's time to tune in. This here's so fire. Empower your voice to inspire. Yeah, R&B Jim.